You think maybe 50? Yeah, so think to yourself, how in the last 24 hours, how many advertisements did I see? 50? Well, it's more than that. How about 500? You're like, there's no way I saw 500 ads. Like, just think to yourself, like, did I see billboard, radio, advertising on Facebook, there's stuff on the right. Like, is it 500? It can't be 500. Do you know that this has been measured and tested, and that the average person in North America will be exposed to 5,000 advertisements a day? 5,000 advertisements a day. And you wanting to advertise has to fit into that. Does that start to go, how do I even stand a chance? Do you know that if you take the average timeline on Facebook, if we take the average number in here, is the average number of friends that you have on Facebook is 388, and if you go and say, well, how many times do they post a day, or how many times do they post a week, that if you add all of that up, in a given year, it's 500,000. So on your timeline on Facebook, there is going to be 500,000 posts this year. Do you know what we're trying to do? Is help your post matter and fit into that, because how is somebody going to read yours and not somebody else? Like, how's it even possible when you hear those numbers? Well, let me ask you this. How many of you still have children that go to school? They're home and go to school. Okay, a lot of campers out there, I see. Okay, good. Well, let's take the number of subjects that they will hear in one day. Let's just say 5. Sometimes it's more. Like even if they're in kindergarten, they kind of reset and do 5 different subjects during the day. And we take the number of school days in a year. That adds up to over 1,000 times. So here's what I want you to do is, I want you to, next time you see them, I say, hey, wasn't school great? Great. Yeah, there's 1,000. How many lessons do you remember that you could tell me right down, that I could write down on a sheet of paper? Tell me all of them right now. Are they gonna remember 1,000? They're not. They're gonna remember maybe 10. Do you know what those 10 will be? The 10 where the teacher took them on an adventure. The 10 where they engaged the senses. The 10 that they didn't just try to give facts, but they gave a story. And they took the classroom on a story. You see, that's what we need to do, is stop advertising and start inviting people into a grand adventure. You see, advertising is based on discontent. And marketers know this, is that if I can get you to not like something, or if I can get you to be jealous of something, or if I can take all of those bad things that we don't want to be, if I can get you to buy into that, you will buy a product. That's the root of all advertising. But adventure is rooted in the soul. It's based on passion. And that's where we've been trying to tell you, hey, you know how you cut through 500,000 posts on a timeline? Like, as people are just going through Instagram, how do they stop? I mean, you've done that. Okay, wait, let me look at that one. Why did you do that? You don't even know why you're doing it. But today I want to maybe tell you why you actually stop, okay? And I want to give you some examples, because one of the things is that today partially is about celebrating you. Celebrating your accomplishments, celebrating your achievements, recognizing you. And so in social media, you've done a fantastic job in this idea of adventure. And so I want to give you a couple of examples of that, because many people are like, oh, there's a product that comes out. Okay, here's the product ad. Okay, that didn't work, so let me just post it 3 times. That didn't work, so let me just, I'll just be louder. In a big, noisy world, that as loud and as noisy as it gets, people are still saying that is not what I'm going after. And so here's an example from Instagram. This is from Jill. And I want to show you why this is a great post. A couple of things. She geotagged her location. Now, she didn't geotag her location saying, so excited about vacation, gonna be gone the next 2 weeks, keys under the door, here's where my house is, kind of location, post, okay? It's not that. It is, she's in this area. Why? Because then other people that are in that area, and Instagram completely changed about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, where location-based stuff is getting a lot more emphasis. So other people could go through and say, wow, look at this family, like, wait, this is in the middle of a school year. How did they get to do something like that? And look, it's just, some kids just can't handle the family adventures, right? So she's using that in there. And she's using emojis. Why? Because your brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. And so you will go and you will stop. If you see a bunch of words, just subconsciously, you see an emoji, you stop. And so she's using hashtags. This is a great idea of a post. Why? Because I don't feel like I'm being advertised to, do I? What do I feel? I'm being invited into their family adventure. And so I want to know more about that adventure. And you think, I just posted something. Why did they not, they didn't go and just quick buy something? No. It could take up to 20 times. On average, it's about 8. 8 different times they have to be exposed to a post over and over again for that consistency. So this is a great example of a post, and she's tying it in. The kids in the back probably don't like right now that they're all over social media, and I'm talking about them in the back sleeping, but there's all of them, and she's drinking energy. She's not just, she's living the product. Because do they want energy? Yes, because it's an amazing product. But you know what they want more than that can of energy? They want Jill's life. And so if you're not talking about your adventure and doing that, you're missing out. Okay, so I think sometimes if I say just post about adventure, that's not maybe enough. So I want to break it down. I want to give you 3 specific things that you can do, right? Because I don't want to just here's the big idea and then see you later. Good luck with that. I want to give you 3 really easy next steps, because some of you said I just feel lost. Great, I'm going to give you 3 easy next steps, okay? I'm going to give you 3 types of things that you can start to post about right away that is going to dramatically increase your influence. The first one is this, friendship. Post about friendship. The next one, you post about fun. And then freedom. Okay? That's what you post about. It works, okay? So you say, cool, but yeah, but that's great for everybody else here, John-Erik, but I'm really good at social media. I have a ton of followers. It's really good at it. Follow for follow. Well, I didn't know you were here. So let me give you your 3 things that you should post about. Friendship, fun, and freedom. You're cool, but I took your 100-day adventure, so I'm really advanced. I got all of that. This seems like it's really basic stuff. Cool, I forgot. You should post about friendship, fun, and freedom. That's what you should post about. You're but John-Erik, I'm an ambassador. So what should I, once I hit that rank, oh man, I'm double diamond now. What should I start to post about? Sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful, but why don't we everybody help? What should we post about? Friendship, fun, and freedom. So I want to break down each one of those and maybe give you some ideas of that. So the first one I want to take is the idea of friendship, and the reason why friendship is so important is because just so much this is part of the human soul. See, friendship, fun, and freedom. This is not cooked up in some marketing think tank. These are things that speak to the human soul. It's why you maybe fell in love with the It Works way, because it is part of our DNA. It's who we are. But it's just not who we are. It is how you are designed as a human being to respond. So when you post about it, the human soul goes, what, huh? Oh, I was ignoring all of the noise and mess in the world, but what'd you say, friendship? I want that. And And all you do is you base your business plan around this. See, many of the top income earners, they started this company because they started with the company because they just needed another $300, another $500. That's all they wanted. But when they hit that number, then it completely shifts. And so my business plan has been simple. All it is has been this. And I'll give it to you. Feel free to steal it. Originality is the ability to hide your source. You don't even have to tag me in it. All your friends can go like, that's a great idea. Help my friends and make more friends. You see, once you hit that, I just need another $500, like, let's look at the Pentecost family and let's look at just their Pentecost adventure. They started a company because they just needed $500 a month. But then once that shifts, what did it become about? It's about helping people. So that became their currency. Like that should be your team's currency. Like how are we gonna help people? Like in our family, I do these every Sunday night is kind of our dream board night. And we don't just have a dream board, we have a dream wall. And it's a whole, you have to face it as you're walking in the house. It's the first thing you see and the last thing that you see when you leave. Because you have to face that every day. So we look at that. I went and created these printouts of these family crests. And so it's like this family crest, but it's blank inside. And so what I did is I had each one of the family, we said, hey, what does it mean to be part of our family? And they went and they all went, and Emerson was a disaster and it was awesome, and like, way to think outside the box, it's awesome. And my oldest, his had like, Nicolas Cage had to figure it out to get the Declaration of Independence, like it's some code. Guys in black suits are about to walk in at any moment and arrest him. Like he's got all these stuff in it. And my wife, she's an art teacher, and so hers was amazing in 2 minutes, and it was just, oh, you're so good at that. And then Pepe, she's about 12 at the time, she gave me hers, and it's a orange dragon. Like a Pepe, why is there an orange dragon on our family crest? And she says, well, Daddy, that's because we fight dragons for people. And I was like, I'm getting an orange dragon sleep like. Hey kids, let's all get tattoos. No, like right, so help my friends and make more friends. And so I want to show you another great post here. So here's another great post. So this one is one of Alyssa, okay? And so this represents the kind of things that the human soul and the human heart is missing. They miss family. They miss that they have friends. They want to be part of a tribe. It does not matter what, how did you translate that in another, you don't have to translate that idea. Everybody, it's a universal idea, wants to be part of that. And that's why even some teams, they create even like their own hashtags. For their team. And it's like, well, it's our team. Hashtag Bamasippy and stuff like that. Where like they're just creating. Apparently it's from Alabama. That guy. Right, and so they do all of that. Why? Because I want to be part of something. Like that's what the hashtag is that I want to be part of something. You see, your greatest relationships are through shared adventure. Think about that in your life, the greatest relationships that you have in your life, it was because you shared an adventure together. It was, I think 2 weeks ago, I went and got in the mail and I opened it up and there was a wedding invitation. And I opened up this wedding invitation and I said, hey Kim, we got an invitation to a wedding. And she said, oh, from who? And I said, oh, from our friends Dan and Katie. Apparently they're from Alabama. And so we were talking about that, and then I said, isn't it weird, Kim, that we've actually never met Dan and Katie? But we have a conversation online. You see, if I just like their post and they like my post, but when I tweeted something, he tweeted something back, and then we had this conversation, and then, do you know what? Like, conversations start revolutions. Conversations, like, my wife and I, we fell in love over a conversation. People, like conversations. That's like when you comment, when you reply, You're just having a conversation. And you know what? It takes just, how long does it go? Like, okay. Now go and hit comment. Take another couple of seconds. It makes a huge difference. And it was crazy because we actually met for the first time at Green Carpet. But for months, I was like, these are my friends. But this brings me to another part, is this idea of fun. It's a really important idea, is this. I take what I do very, very seriously. It keeps me up late at night sometimes. It's many times the first thing that I think about. It drives me, it gets me out of bed in the morning. Like, it drives me that there's a single mom right now that tonight she's going to cry herself to sleep because she's got 2 kids and she doesn't know how she's gonna make it. I take that extremely seriously. I'm wearing giraffe camo pants. I don't take myself seriously. That's it. No, but think about it, like, some of you, when your business started to decline, it was because you took the opportunity very seriously in the beginning, and then you started taking yourself way too serious when you started getting successful. So you need to make sure that you take this very seriously. You just don't take yourself very seriously. Like, it's, because why? You gotta have fun, right? You post like just goofy things about that, and you're doing fun things, right? And so in this post, this Kendra had a great post where it says they're having
That's
fun.
our Kendra, right?
And so people will stop on this timeline because they go, oh look, they're having fun. This is the kind of post that makes people stop. And the reason I picked this post is, first of all, the one on the left. This is kind of a popular thing, but like the whole, like, this is my view today, this is my office. I love those posts. It gets people's attention. Why? Because they're like, you know, like sometimes, especially in the fall, I work Mondays from the Magic Kingdom or Epcot. What? Just Wi-Fi, and because I can, and it's like, it's that whole like, hey, I'm having fun, I can do this. And like, so when you have your view and you're sitting by the pool, watching your husband play with their child, and she's on her phone making money at the time, do you think people want to stop and go, hey, so tell me more about that? They do. The other thing I wanted to use this post specifically is because I think sometimes you guys out there, you think, well, I'm just at a disadvantage. Well, you know what? Wearing a shirt is a start, but there's so much more that you can do on social media, and you're like, yeah, but I'm just not as good as my wife. Like, you're not trying to be her. Okay, see, if I go and take one of my kids on a field trip, and there's one of the moms that is posting like, hey, I'm on this field trip, it's so great that I have the freedom and the fun and the friendship to do it. That's great. But there's 29 other moms that posted the same thing. But I was the only guy that was there. So when you are spending time with your kids and you're posting about that, that makes a huge, huge impact. But some of you are saying, yes, but I'm just starting out. I don't have the money to be able to go on vacation all the time. I didn't say vacation. I said adventure. You see, adventure is a mindset. If our goal in life is that if I work 40 years for somebody, and if I could go and just twice a year take a week off, like that seems to be like one of the goals. Like, oh, like I can get, like the American dream is I get 2 weeks off and I can buy a house. Well, you didn't buy a house, you bought a house for the bank because there was a mortgage on it. So you bought the bank a house. There's a big difference between having a house debt-free and just having a house that the bank owns and lets you use. Okay? There's a big, big difference of that. It's this mindset of, then if you take 2 weeks a year, that's only 4% of your life. So 4% of your life you can be by a pool? Like I'm convinced that if Pharaoh would have just let the children of Israel have like 2 weeks off a year, like they wouldn't have like, no, we're good. We're good, we got our 2 weeks. Like the Pharaoh loaned us money to go buy a house. So we just pay Pharaoh and he makes money and he gives us 2 weeks off. Like, we're good, we're set. We got nothing to complain about. That is not the American dream. That is crazy. Adventure is a mindset. When people said, oh, I'm bored, that's because you're boring. Like, you're not being entertained by Candy Crush constantly. The next one I want to show you is freedom, because we don't have that freedom. 76% of all Americans, that when you go back and you say, I'm going to take the 2 houses left and right, I'm going to take the 2 across the street for me. 76%, that means that 3 out of those 4 people are just 1 paycheck away. They have paycheck to paycheck. They're 1 paycheck away from losing everything. That the average American family that declared bankruptcy for under $500 a month, they could have prevented that bankruptcy. That more Americans will declare bankruptcy than will have a heart attack this year. Freedom is a big deal. So we're going to skip these next 2 slides because you've heard that technology is an accelerator. It just makes things go faster. So it can make all of these things, friendship, fun, and freedom, it can go a lot faster. It can make the bad things in the world go faster. So people say, oh, I don't like Facebook. No, you don't like gossip. Like, oh, I don't like Twitter. No, you don't like how you use Twitter. That's a different thing. So I want to show you this other post. This is from Rachel Williamson. And what I love about this post is this. They're showing you the plans for their house. And here's what they said. 2.5 years ago, we were drowning in debt. She's speaking to 76. I blame the adventure pants, really. We were drowning in debt and surviving month to month. She's speaking to 3 out of the 4 people in her neighborhood. It was horrible. Now we are totally debt-free and they're building their dream house. You think people want to see that, or they want to know your political opinion on something? Like, I'm not saying you don't have an opinion about something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Like, there's sometimes 2 different things there, okay? Thank you, the 14 of you that agree with that. Okay. Here's what I want to guarantee to you, is that if you post about friendship, fun, and freedom, that nobody will ever say no. You're like, you can guarantee that if I'm doing friendship, fun, and freedom, people won't ever say no? I can guarantee that. You know why? Because they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. You giving them an opportunity, that was all you were supposed to do. You taking that 3 minutes that could have impacted 3 generations of their family tree, that was all you needed to do. The answer was irrelevant. If your happiness depends on what other people are going to say, that's a miserable experience. Like, I'm gonna have a good day or a bad day based upon if they say yes or no. That is not how you live. You say, my job is to say yes. To say yes to adventure. To go through and say, yes, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna talk to them. That was what the win was. The win was that you said yes. And see, it's so easy to say no. See, people go through and they say, I'm tired, something's expensive, tomorrow we'll do it, well, next time, I'm not gonna do that workout today, I'm gonna do it next time, I'll start next month, we'll start to do that. Like, that's what losers say. That's the language of a loser, okay? Winners say sometimes they say, today, there's a sense of urgency. You know why there's a sense of urgency? You know why I care so much? Because there is that single mom that is gonna cry herself to sleep tonight. And that's why there's a sense of urgency. I recently got to go on a great adventure, and I got to go with my mom. And so here's a picture of me and my mom. And my mom has stage 4 kidney cancer. And there's nothing. It doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter how smart I am. It doesn't matter what technology I know how to use. It doesn't matter what I do. I cannot add one more day to her life. I mean, I can pray, I can hope, I can dream, but I myself have no control over adding another day to her life. But you know what I can do? I can add life to her days. What you need to understand is that, yes, is this about amazing products? Absolutely. Is it about this amazing culture? Yes. Is it about that we get to accelerate hope on the planet? Yes. But for me, it occurred recently that it's about that we can add life to people's days. And so I was able to take her on an adventure to the Arctic Circle where she was born. She hasn't been in now over 60 years. And so I surprised her and we went over there and we had this amazing adventure. And right before we were about to go, she said, you know what, your grandfather, he was a pastor, and we don't know where the church is. We don't know what it was called. There's so much we don't know. But, you know, it'd be really, well, Mom, why don't we go down and we get the records and find, like, well, this was during World War II, and then the Nazis had invaded, and they burned all the birth records and all of that. Like, there's no, we don't know anything. And I thought to myself, oh, we should try to find it. And I said, you know what, we have that flight tomorrow, and, you know, we're jet lagged, and Mom, you know, I don't want Mom to overdo it, and then we're probably not even going to find it. Like, I had to find this church in the middle of this stuff. Like, we don't even know. It's another language. Everybody says no, 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 no. And so I said no. And we were planning on going to the airport, and then we stopped and said, you know what, let's just try. Let's just say yes. So we went, and we went there, and we didn't know if it was the right place. And they, at the end of the service, they brought my grandfather's picture out that had been hanging on the wall, that he was this hero that fought the Nazis in the resistance, and these amazing stories about building a radio tower in the church steeple and rescuing people. And then they brought out this book, and they dusted it off, and they opened it up, and here, I took a picture of it. Here is my mom's name and all of her records. And they did not keep her records where all the other records are, because she was the daughter of the pastor, and that's my grandfather's handwriting. Like, he wrote that out over 70 years ago, and it was sitting on a shelf. And you know what that was doing? It had been waiting for over 60 years for one thing. Yeah. For me to say yes to adventure. I wonder for you, this story is not about me, and it's not about my mom, who I'm a wreck right now because she's sitting here and she's feeling good enough to come and be here today. And this story is about you. It is the story of how many times you've said no to other people. How many times you said no that it's just we're tired, no, it's expensive, no. When we say no, we rob the world. And so my hope for you is this, is that you say yes to adventure, that you always stay thoughtful, that you help your friends and that you make more friends, that you always see the moonwalking bear and that you see the pink feet in life, right? That you invite people into a grand adventure, that the day has a good you because your adventure begins right now.
makeup, please, makeup. Hey, you know what I love about the 100-day social adventure is that we've changed the conversation from don't do this and don't do that to being thoughtful.
Yeah.
You know, and you when you brought that concept, it just like, it's almost like it was there all the time, but people didn't have that conversation. You know, a year ago, we're having these conversations about what? You know, don't talk about your downline on Facebook, right? We're getting on to you. But, you know, John-Erik, how have you seen the transformation from the 100-day social adventure go from being kind of, I don't want to say like a negative aspect, like don't do this, to changing the world with thoughtfulness?
Yeah, I mean, like everything was about, I'm frustrated, like, why aren't we doing this? And it turns from frustration to inspiration. I mean, for me, it's been inspiring. It's just watching that and just stepping back and going, wow, they're like living their dreams. Like, I'm getting ideas from you now. Like, that is just so, like, it's been incredible for us.
I love it. You know, here's what I can tell you, and there's no doubt about this. There's not one other company other than It Works Global that is doing social the way we're doing it.
Absolutely.
There's not one. Would you guys agree with that? Right? There's other companies out there and they're like, oh, here's how you get more likes, or here's how you get more this, or here's how you get more that. But they're not giving high fives and hugs online.
No, they're not. Like everything is, you know, when I first started doing computer animation, there was maybe 100 people that knew how to do it. And now there's thousands of people, there's schools, or that. It's the same thing, that there's very few people on the planet right now that get the power, like the true power, that it's not about just advertising, but it's about adventure, and you'll start to see them all to copy us.
Yeah, you know, one thing John-Erik shared with me, that probably the second time we ever met, he said, Mike, you can stop posting for 30 days. I'm not telling you to do it, but you could stop posting for 30 days and just go like other people's posts, comment on other people's posts, and you have more people following you after 30 days than you ever have before.
Right.
Like, talk about that for a second.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that you should do this, but if you said, like, if I told you you're not allowed to post anything, you're only allowed to be thoughtful, to like, to comment, to have conversations, to share, to be about other people, at the end of those 30 days, your social influence will be higher than everybody else around you. Because it's not about me all the time, but it's about, wait, I've started this conversation with other people, and the way that algorithm and everything works is like people say, oh, well then what are they up to? And they start looking towards you, and you become kind of this thought leader. And then your posts have a ton more influence.